From here, we see Captain America saying that things are the way they are now because they didn't have a plan before. They didn't have a plan before the arrival of Peter Parker, and that the idea here is to give them something to trade, is to give Ultron something to barter with. Now, what we'll learn is that initially, it's not the idea to simply just barter, that Captain America has a second point to this plan. And Spider-Man continues, again with a little prodding from Captain America, to retell what it was that he had told them previously. That the owl, as Spider-Man had overheard it, was able to maintain its operations. They were able to continue doing whatever it was that they were doing before, as long as they made payments to Ultron. And the payments were in the form of superheroes. And so most likely, a large majority of the superheroes, or even supervillains who had been killed, were probably killed by the owl and various other people who were selling them off in order to keep themselves alive. Now, the question here is, why wouldn't Ultron simply just kill everyone? Why wouldn't Ultron simply just wipe everybody out? Why would he go through all the trouble to simply ruin the world? And Tony Stark chimes in by saying that he knows exactly why Ultron hasn't simply just killed everyone. And what Tony Stark gives us is some really interesting insight into Ultron, and is probably the answer to the question that a lot of you guys are asking of, why is it that Ultron hasn't killed everyone? What Tony Stark tells us is that Ultron was created to have human needs and desires, and that he thinks that what Ultron is doing right now is replicating what he thinks needs and desires are. So the idea of revenge, of torture, so on and so forth, that these are all ideas that Ultron has programmed himself to believe. And so he's acting out effectively the way that he thinks a human would act out. And so he asks the question, let's say that Ultron won and that he took over the world, then what would happen? And Emma Frost replies by saying that it simply just wouldn't be enough. And so the idea here is that Ultron is more or less establishing himself as a dictator and living out the role of a dictator, but that they're not really sure exactly what the end result of all this is going to be.